Welcome to my next video. Today we're going to be covering having multiple Plex servers and how you're going to do port forwarding. So in this example I have two Plex servers, Plex 1 and Plex 2. Now if you want to be able to access them from outside your network, by default Plex will default to port 32400. So when you go into the WAN access on Plex, you will need to tell your second server to use instead 32401 from the outside. And what we want to do in the SonicWall is then tell it to translate that back to 32400 on that server. This allows you to have your primary Plex server come in on the standard port and your secondary one come in on an alternate port. You can also have them both on alternate ports if you like. So for the first one, this is your primary server. You're going to say the original source is any, unless you have some sort of WAN whitelist, but we won't be covering that for now. Translated source is original. The original destination will be your WAN IP of your home router here. Now, I have 5 IPs on mine, so I list that as IP X1, IP1, but usually you would just have one, and you can even do, I may have deleted this address object. You can usually just do WAN interface IP, and that will cover that if you just have one public IP address. Your translated destination is going to be the local IP address of your Plex server. If you haven't created an object for that, you can do that now with create new address object. And you would just name it Plex 01, assign it to correct LAN zone, and put in the IP address. Now, the original service, again, you're going to create a new service. Name it Plex 32400. The type would be TCP. And the range would be 32400 to 32400. Translated service would be original. Now that's for your first and primary one that is using the standard Plex port. For your second Plex server, it's going to be a little different. Give it a new name. Again, original source is any, translated source is original. Original destination would be the WAN IP address you have it assigned to. Translated destination is the new LAN IP for your second Plex server, so make sure to create an address object for that. The original service this time is going to be a new one that you come up with. So I chose 32401. You could do anything though. You could do 32410. TCP 32410, 32410. Just don't make it something that's a common IP address. You know, don't go making it 80 or 443 or 22. You know, if you're uncertain, just go with 32401 or do a Google search of common ports and don't use any of them. Translated service in this case is you're going to go back to that object you created on the first one, 32400. And basically what you're doing here is you're telling anyone from outside where your Plex server is, when they come in, they will be hitting your WAN IP. And it's going to say, if they translate that WAN IP to this local IP address of your second Plex server, under the condition that they are using the port 32401. Now, if they aren't using that port, this policy won't be applied. If they are using it, it will see they're on that, and it will then translate that port to 32400. So they will be coming in on 32401 on your WAN IP, but your router will instead route it to the LAN IP of your Plex server on port 32400, which is what Plex needs. Make sure you tell Plex that you're using 32401 within its own system settings there. And that should be all there is to it, except for, you're going to also have to make sure you have a firewall rule allowing that. So from WAN to LAN, you can see you'll need allow rules for both your primary server 32.400 and your alternate server 32.401. And how you do this is you make sure it's under allow from WAN to LAN. Source port any. Service is that same object you made, 32.401 or 32.400. Source is any, and destination is your WAN IP. And as long as you have those two firewall rules and those two NAT policies, Plex will be accessible from the outside for both servers. Thank you very much.